What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a Monday Night Raw review for January 31st, 2022. This is the day, 2 days after the most disappointing Royal Rumble in the last few years. That's right, the most disappointing Royal Rumble in the last 5 to 10 years. And the two Rumbles, of course, were won by two part-timers who weren't going to be here probably after WrestleMania. Ronda might, but Brock probably won't. I think that Brock Lesnar's time in WWE for the year, or at least for now, will be up at WrestleMania. So, how are we going to have the week after? Well, we're going to have Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. Because in 2 weeks' time, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, WWE will present you the Elimination Chamber. Now, Bobby Lashley is in because he's defending the title, which I do not agree with the most. Honestly, the Elimination Chamber, because we know Brock is going against Roman. He confirmed it tonight. The Elimination Chamber should be to determine who faces Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Now, with the twist that happened here in a bit, we will talk about what needs to happen and what could happen going into WrestleMania. Adam Pearce is in the middle of the ring. Mike Rome says he's here. Pearce welcomes us with that shitty, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw." You know, the thing the McMahons like to do. He touts the Rumble's performance of Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar and the new WWE Champion Bobby Lashley. We're officially on the road to WrestleMania 38, but there's one roadblock left, and that is the Elimination Chamber. Lashley will defend his title against 5 other superstars with the Elimination Chamber, but out comes Lashley and MVP. They come to the ring, and MVP pretty much just says, "Who the hell do you think you are? How dare you put Bobby Lashley in this match? The man who just went up against Brock Lesnar and beat Brock Lesnar, and he has to now go and worry about 5 guys? This ain't fucking right." Lashley gets the mic and says again, "Who the hell do you think you are? I should be out celebrating, not worrying about 5 guys coming to fight, get my WWE Championship." He mentions how he's the champ, he's the beast, he's the conqueror now because he beat Brock Lesnar. Out comes the beast, but this isn't just any beast. This is Brock Lesnar in fight mode. I need to change this for overlay, by the way. I'll have to do that next week. I totally forgot about it. Anyway, he's in fight mode. He's pissed. He wants his WWE Championship. He wants the WWE Championship back. And he wants to fight tonight, which would have been interesting. I don't know when the last time Brock Lesnar actually had an actual match on Raw, but he pretty much just called Bobby out. He's like, "Dude, you're an athlete. Are you really happy with the way you won that championship last 2 nights ago? The fact that you've been talking all this shit for all this time, and that's how you win the WWE Championship? Are you happy with yourself on that? How could you be happy knowing that you're not a real champion? You're a paper champion, if anything." And he says he's in his fight gear, so he wants a match tonight. MVP talks down Bobby Lashley and says, after talking down and everything, your request has been denied. You need to get to the back of the line and earn yourself a championship match. Lesnar calls Bobby Lashley a chicken shit. And then Bobby Lashley gets talked down again by MVP. They leave. Adam Pearce announces that Brock Lesnar will be in the Elimination Chamber. Brock Lesnar's first ever Elimination Chamber match. I find that surprising, but it is true. It is his first ever Elimination Chamber match. Now, one of 2 things can happen here. 1, Brock Lesnar wins the WWE Championship, goes to WrestleMania, fights Roman Reigns title for title, which he teased a couple weeks ago, and said he wanted to do that tonight. Or Brock Lesnar is the first person eliminated from the Elimination Chamber, and somebody else wins, and I don't think that's going to be Bobby Lashley. I think Bobby Lashley is going to have a 3-week title reign, and that is it. Bobby Lashley does not feel like the guy they should be taking the WWE title into WrestleMania with. Honestly, if you're looking at everything over the last 6 or 7 months. Everything started, and it's starting to come into fruition from Big E beating Bobby Lashley for the WWE title back when he did. That was not the time. That was not the time. That was not the place. Bobby Lashley should have held the WWE Championship from February of last year all the way to WrestleMania this year with Bobby Lashley versus Big E at WrestleMania. On top of that, COVID getting to Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns having to pull out of day one also is a ramification for this because Bobby Lashley, Big E was supposed to retain that championship and go to the Royal Rumble as WWE Champion. Now where's Big E? Back on SmackDown as part of the New Day. Big E's singles push is dead. WWE gave everything they could for that singles push and it's dead. Now back where he belongs in their eyes. But that sucks because, again, Big E should still be Mr. Money in the Bank, heading to WrestleMania and is going to cash in at WrestleMania against Bobby Lashley. That should have been the match there. That should have been the big moment. WWE could have had the Hurt Business brought back together for a second time just to have them beat up Big E over and over and make it harder for Big E to have a chance to beat Bobby Lashley at the WrestleMania and then make people want to see Big E win it at WrestleMania. There was no reason to take the title off Bobby Lashley when they did. It kind of... And then look at Big E's title reign. Look what they did with it. Nothing. They were like, yeah, we'll give you the title, but we have no plans for you. We're going to have you lose match after match after match non-title. You're not going to really do anything, and then you're going to lose it to Brock Lesnar. Now, yes, COVID hitting Roman did change that, and they had to hotshot the title twice in 1 month. That is Brock Lesnar's shortest title reign in his career, less than a month. So, yeah, there was just literally no reason. Like, if you just look back on everything, and if they would do everything again, they should change the way they did stuff. Now, I know you couldn't have Brock Lesnar off of day one, so they had to put him in the match, so it probably wouldn't have mattered if it was Big E or if it was Bobby Lashley. Brock Lesnar was walking out of day one with the WWE Championship to lead to the turn of Paul Heyman this past Saturday. We'll know who else is in the Elimination Chamber as the night goes on. Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Trash. This match lasted about 3 minutes. Riptide, middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley wins. I think it's time to end the almost a superhero gimmick. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work. She's not inspiring anybody. Trying to say, I'm inspiring the kids. And then you see the kids watching you getting booed and looking like a goof. The kids are going to look at this mom and say, that's not my hero. Rhea Ripley's my hero. Becky's my hero. Nikki, not your hero. Just saying. So, during the rest of the majority of the show, we had the second of these academic challenges. This time, a scooter race with Matt Riddle versus Chad Gable. So, it was 50 laps around the arena. Apparently, we didn't see all 50 laps. Thankfully, that would have been bad television. So what they did was they had him start. They have it cut in, which I'm pretty sure most of this was taped beforehand. They would cut in every so often and show the laps they were on, which I don't believe. They probably did 1, maybe 2 loops around, or maybe just 1 loop around, and they filmed all this stuff and just said, here's the lap they're on, here's the lap they're on, here's the lap they're on, because you could definitely tell this was all taped beforehand, and there was no fucking way these guys actually did 50 laps. Because if they were going to do 50 laps and then come into the arena like they did, they would have been fucking tired, sweat dripping down them and anything. No, that's not what it looked like. So obviously the race was this race of 50 laps was literally just, and it's not like they cut to the same spot every time. They cut to like 3 different spots in the back and it was like, well, they're on lap 7, 18, 39, 49, and then we're coming down to the final lap. That's basically what it was. And long story short, Chad Gable falls over. Matt Riddle's making a victory lap. He's slapping everybody's hands. He's getting close to the finish line. Otis just runs into him and wrecks him. allowing Chad Gable to do a little victory lap around Matt Riddle, cross the finish line, and win, because you knew they weren't going to do a two straight sweep between RK Bro and Chad Gable in the Alpha Academy. You knew Chad Gable, the Alpha Academy, had to win one. So they won this week. Honestly, they should have won the spelling last week, and then have RK Bro win this one, and then make it the whatever is left. So, moving on here, we go back to Alexa Bliss and another therapy session. Therapist says he can see Will spinning on her head and ask her what she's thinking. She brings up how it recently talked to her about imaginary things, but she says Lily has always been real, has always had her back, and he asks what would she do if Lily were to return her. She says things like have a sleepover, hug her, dress her up in pajamas, and watch scary movies. The therapist pulls up this Lily replica from WWE shop and is like, how does this make you feel? She sits up a little bit better, gets this crying, like her eyes are starting to tear up, and she's like, really? And then that was that. For that, we'll be back to that later. Alright. Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz. The only thing that I can see why this match happened is because WWE again is going to tease Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio breaking up as we're getting closer to WrestleMania, and we're going to have the Mysterios battle at WrestleMania with Dom turning heel or whatever happens. Basically, the referee goes to check on Dom. Miz trips himself, making it and blaming Rey Mysterio. The referee turns around and thinks Rey tripped Miz. The ref rejects Rey at ringside. Miz takes advantage of distraction as Dominic is paying attention to his father. Skull-crushing finale, 1, 2, 3. Now, they didn't make any big deal about, you didn't see Dominic having words with Rey or anything, but it just feels like that's the route they've got to be going. They've been teasing this since a little bit after WrestleMania last year, and then later in the year. They're just off and on with this teasing. Dom versus Rey every single time. Can you make up your fucking mind what you're going to do? Are they going to be a team? Are they going to feud? What are you going to do? Make up your mind. Serena Snuka attacks the 24/7 champion. Don't care. We see some more of the Riddle and Chad Gable stuff. Back to the ring, out comes Kevin Owens. Must-see Road to WrestleMania edition of Kevin Owens Show. And I'm thinking, you signed this man to what was possibly a 3-year deal, which will probably be cut from very, very soon. Probably after WrestleMania. But you come out, and this is what your hat for him is a Kevin Owens show. Owens asks Rollins, he talks about how he's going to be in the Elimination Chamber as soon as he gets through Austin Theory, and he brings out his best friend, Seth Rollins. So, Seth comes out. Rollins says he's not 100%, so maybe he will sit tonight. He says Cincinnati is the hottest city in the world, and he wouldn't miss this. Fans do chant for the NFL's Cincinnati Bengals to celebrate their upcoming Super Bowl against the Rams. Owens says the crowd is excited about something, but doesn't exactly mention the Super Bowl, of course, because copyright problems. Owens says it's a video package that shows what happened during Rollins and Universal Champion Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Fans boo. Owens says that was disgusting and shameful. He says Rollins did that because he knew Rollins was going to win, and he knew he couldn't beat Rollins. Or you made Charles Robinson look like the biggest buffoon in WWE by blatantly putting Seth Rollins' arm on the rope. It was so bad. I bet you when they were on the replay, they edit that to make it look better. Owens says while Rollins might not be the official Universal Champion, he is the Universal Champion of Owens' heart. Rollins texts him and says that means a lot. Rollins laughs and they're both standing now. Rollins says he's not here with the title, but he did acquire something else, a permanent piece of real estate in the brains of Roman Reigns. Seth, weren't you there from the moment you hit him with that steel chair in 2014, dissolving the Shield? Man, it's been 8 years. It's been a long time. I'm getting old. Go back anytime he wants, and next time he will bring back the Universal title. But that's SmackDown business, and this is Raw, and he's come for the attention that there is an elimination title, a WWE Elimination Chamber, so he came to the show to give us some good news. A special announcement, I should say. Calls for a drum roll and announces that he will be a participant in the Elimination Chamber, joining WWE Champion Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Owens brings up being in without qualifying, and Rollins says he is because of his performance against Reigns. Owens seems a bit annoyed, but he's not worried because he will qualify later tonight and wants Rollins to go find Sonya Deville, and Adam Pearce to tell them he will not compete in the Elimination Chamber unless they let Owens in without qualifying. Rollins hesitates, and Owens says he would do it for Rollins. Rollins says he isn't sure about this idea. Out comes Austin Theory. So, Austin Theory is like the only young guy actually feels like getting any kind of push. Austin Theory is, I guess, Vince McMahon's pet project, on screen and off screen maybe too. But this is the only guy who seems to be getting any kind of love from the young guns. I mean, yeah, Damian Priest is the U.S. champion, but the dude is in his 30s. If I'm correct, Damian Priest is between 32 and 35. He's not a young gun. Austin Theory is in his mid-20s. Yeah. The only guy that has been brought up from NXT who is under 30, who's actually been used and booked like he should be some kind of big deal. So, they had themselves the match here. And obviously, this is going to be a qualifier match. We have one more scheduled for later tonight, and that will be your main event match before we get into how the show ended. So, they have a really good match here. It wasn't too bad. Theory climbs up for a superplex with Owens. Counters and hits a big suplex of his own. Owens with the slow crawl over the Theory hangs there in there. Owens follows Theory to the floor and now unloads with strikes over the back. They bring it back into the ring. Theory kicks Owens' knee as he comes to the ropes. Then nails the ATL for the 1, 2, 3. And Austin Theory is joining Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, and Bobby Lashley. There are 2 slots left. Does Austin Theory have a chance at the Elimination Chamber? How about no? But he's there. Again, the youngest guy that WWE seems to be actively pushing. Vince McMahon and company fired so many talent last year and the year, like pretty much last year, because they have the new edict that you can't be over 30 and WWE gonna give a shit about you. Which one makes me wonder how long until Roderick Strong, Tommaso Ciampa, and are fired, because they're both in their 30s. Over 30. But yeah, Owens loses. Now, you could have had Kevin Owens win this if you wanted to. Have him and Seth Rollins both in the Elimination Chamber. Both of them working together, turn on one another or something, but I guess it's the way to keep the partnership together without anything else going on. Angelo Dawkins versus Dolph Ziggler. Why this match is happening, I don't have a fucking clue. There's no stakes behind it, no reason to have it. Dawkins wins. Don't really give a care. We get to the final lap of this. They do that, everything. We get another Veer Mahan coming soon promo. This guy has been coming soon since October. Why did they split him away from Shanky and Jinder? They had no reason. Do they have any plans for Veer if he ever makes his debut on Raw? No. So why do it? Why the fuck do it? I don't understand. Already talked about what happens with the whole race thing. It does lead to a match between Matt Riddle and Otis. We come back from the break. Adam Pearce comes out and interrupts and announces that this is now a WWE title Elimination Chamber qualifier. The winner will have a spot, the next to last spot, inside the Elimination Chamber. Obviously, you know who's not winning this match. And you obviously know who is. Wasn't like I gotta say, WWE Raw had a good bit of good, decent matches tonight. It wasn't all boring and terrible, but it does feel like Cleveland. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. One shit, hopefully another. I felt like Cincinnati just died through the show. We got to AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio in the main event match, and it just seemed like the crowd wasn't there. Unless my ears are going bad, which of course that's probably true, but I didn't hear the crowd get crazy at all for that match. And that should be it. That's probably a dream match or a big match for a lot of people. So Otis dominates majority of the match. Matt Riddle gets away, hits a floating bro, pin, win, 1, 2, 3. He's in the chamber. Now, the biggest question is here is that him and the plan for Matt Riddle and Randy Orton right now is to keep them together. There was a plan to have them become RK Bro and then split up like right away and feud at SummerSlam, which made absolutely no sense. WWE wanted to, like, at one time, wanted to have these two fight each other at SummerSlam last year. Even though they formed as RK Bro, I think a month or so beforehand. Actually, it was like a couple weeks before SummerSlam because that's where they beat the tag team champions. How the fuck were you going to have enough time to build them as a team so when they broke up, people would care? Honestly, you got to put Matt Riddle over. You got to make sure Matt Riddle is a big deal. Randy Orton needs to win the WWE Championship between now and SummerSlam. Him and Matt Riddle, he turns on Matt Riddle between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. They need to have something going on at SummerSlam where I think they could go for the tag team titles and lose again at WrestleMania. And between now and SummerSlam, and between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, Randy Orton wins the WWE title because he's not going to be in the Elimination Chamber. And then, again, probably Money in the Bank, or whatever pay-per-view it is before, Randy Orton turns on Matt Riddle, and then you get a match between these two at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. Have Matt Riddle beat Randy Orton, none of this non-finished bullshit, so you can get to this next Saudi show, or the UK show in August, whatever the fuck they're going to do there. And you have Matt Riddle as your new WWE Champion, if that's what they want to do. Honestly, I don't see WWE and this is funny because apparently there were plans for Matt Riddle to win the Royal Rumble before they changed their ideas 20 times over the weekend. I don't buy it worth a shit. The only way that would have made sense is if Randy Orton was to be in the Elimination Chamber coming out of the Royal Rumble, and Randy Orton won the Elimination Chamber, setting up Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, where they both go in as buds to WrestleMania. They're all cool, everything's good, they have their match at WrestleMania. Matt Riddle comes out by the skin of his teeth, surprising Randy Orton with the win. Randy Orton's like, good job, man, goes to shake his hand, and then hits him with an RKO. And then picks him up again and hits him with another RKO. And then gives him a boot to the head, solidifying his heel turn, and that is your feud for the next 2 pay-per-views. So Matt Riddle's in, and that's all about that. Bianca Belair versus Carmella. I have no idea why this match happened either. Like, just random. No reason behind it. Belair wins with the KOD. Back to the therapist. Bliss is talking to the Lily replica, going on about how she misses her. The therapist says this isn't the real Lily. This is one he got from the WWE shop website. He gives the doll to her, and she takes it, embraces it, and smiles while rocking in her chair, and the segment ends. If we're not going back to if we're not getting out of this fucking fiend-ish type Alexa Bliss, I don't even care. Like, get her out of this fiend character. Get rid of Lily. It is a replica, so maybe the replica will be what causes her to go back and snap back into being a human being. Alpha Academy wins Kevin Patrick. He shows us the scooter race played out earlier tonight, not to mentioning how Otis' match with Riddle didn't go as planned. Gable Laston says, of course he won the race. He's an Olympian. Most importantly, they get to choose the challenge for next week's final one of these challenges. It'll be a quiz bowl. Yay, I'm so totally looking forward to a quiz bowl. Gable says when Arcade Bro loses the quiz, which he knows they will kiss the title shot goodbye. Alpha Academy walks off. So, obviously, if they win, obviously the OK Bro should win. And then they go to WrestleMania and face Chad Gable and the Alpha Academy for the titles. And lose. We see what happened earlier with Brock Lesnar champion, all that stuff. When we go to AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. Big time match here. This is probably only one of the biggest matches you could probably put on Raw. And it was really good. Again, I don't know why. The match just... It's like the crowd wasn't there. I don't know what was up with the crowd, but it just felt like the crowd didn't give a shit. They would, maybe they were tired of seeing a bunch of bullshit on this show. I don't know. AJ Styles wins. It was a pretty good match. And he's moving on, and people are saying he should win the WWE Championship. Austin Theory has no chance. Seth Rollins has no chance. Matt Riddle could have a chance, especially with the rumors that the talk that he was supposed to apparently win the Royal Rumble. Maybe they could have him win. AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar. Honestly, in my opinion, Brock Lesnar needs to win the championship. We go to title for title at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns wins the title, the 2 titles, merges them. We have one WWE championship again. Merge the brand split and get rid of it because they don't have enough talent. With all the talent they fired since the scamdemic started, they don't have enough to support 2 brands. SmackDown is a fucking bore. Do you see who's all on that show? It's just like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching SmackDown? It sucks. As for anything else, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Like, okay, bro, probably gonna win next week, and then they'll go to, like I said, WrestleMania. They should be doing that. Riddle could win the Chamber. I highly doubt it. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Ronda Rousey came out after this, and I'm just gonna be real honest. Ronda Rousey just comes off right now as if she doesn't want to be there. WWE called her and said, we'll pay you X amount of dollars. We'll give you a blank check. You write as much as you want on there. We'll pay you for that. And then we'll have you come back, win the Royal Rumble, go to WrestleMania, probably beat Charlotte 9,000, and then have the Women's Championship to WrestleMania the next year. And she just comes off as if she doesn't fucking care. She said her piece. Becky came out, wanted her to fight her and not Charlotte. And then she went for an attack, and Ronda flipped her and said, I'll let you know on Friday. Becky's like, oh yeah, that's right, you're scared of me. I would be scared of me too. And out comes Lita. So Lita's run at the Royal Rumble was not a one and done, and her talking about how she's going to have one more run in her. She is going to face Becky Lynch at the Elimination Chamber. So, in Saudi Arabia, you have a Raw Women's Championship match. Becky versus Lita. This does nothing for anybody. If Lita wins, what does that do for the division? The fact that you took the title off of Becky Lynch before WrestleMania and gave it to somebody who isn't going to be there after she loses it. And if Becky wins, so what? She beat Lita. Whoop-de-doo. Lita hasn't wrestled full time in over 10, almost 20 years. So, yeah. I see no benefit to this, and I really shouldn't care. Monday Night Raw, it was okay. Not decent, not great, not good, okay. That is your Monday Night Raw review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the France Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday for AEW on TBS. Until then, my name is France, and I'll see you guys later.